Hello everyone, welcome to episode 24 of our Natural Health and Astrology series. I am Annabelle Fraser. I am a naturopath and a health coach specializing in women's gut health. And I'm here to talk about how we can use essential oils to support our emotions during the moon phases. And I'm teaming up with Laurie, as usual, who's going to give us some insights on this month's full moon.
Hello, everyone. This is Laurie Barnes. I'm an astrologer, psychotherapist, and twice a month, a co-host of our show, Natural Health and Astrology. Today is focused on our full moon. So we have a full moon in Cancer, and the theme that we're going to talk about today is using self-compassion and using self-compassion to feel and heal. I chose that theme because we have a lot of stuff going on in the opposite sign of Cancer, which is Capricorn. And some of you will probably know what that is. We have a Mercury retrograde and a Venus retrograde, both of them in the sign of Capricorn. And actually, Mercury is going to span across two signs, Aquarius and Capricorn. So at this very moment, Mercury is actually retrograde in Aquarius, but it's going to go back to Capricorn. And so we just kind of have this theme. We've had this theme since the end of last year about being practical and strategic and having like this looking backwards to go forwards kind of energy. And so when we come to this full moon, which is the focus of today's video, I really think that this Cancer moon is going to, Cancer full moon is going to highlight all of this energy. And so the full moon actually happens tonight. So if you're in the USA, it's in the afternoon around 3:47 p.m., actually at that exact time. And then the East Coast is 6:47 p.m., so just a little before 7. And then here in Rome, it's overnight. It's going to happen after midnight, so technically it's Tuesday morning, so around 12:47 in the morning. So you'll be seeing the fullest of the full moon tonight, although if you've been looking at the moon for the last couple of nights, it looks pretty full. The actual full moon is, tonight. So Cancer is a water sign, and so it's going to be a more emotional type of full moon. I mean, all full moons have this energy of being extra emotional. It's the full moon. We're full of energy. We're full of emotion. And when it's in an actual water element sign like Cancer, it makes it more emotional, maybe more fluctuating in emotions. So we may have more highs and lows during this full moon than say a fire or an air full moon. Cancer is about tradition and it's a very sentimental sign, and it's known for being very nurturing. And so that brings me to that self-compassion component of really taking extra time for yourself, or self-care and self-nurturing, doing things that you really love, that really like inspire you. And the self-care, like eating really well, eating healthy food and flushing your body. This is a water full moon, so it's time to remember to drink enough water and to eat enough fruits and vegetables and do those things that make you feel good on the inside. So if the full moon is in Cancer, that means that the sun is in Capricorn, because it's always two opposing signs in a full moon. It's always the same two pairs, because that's just how the zodiac works, which means that all that Capricorn stuff is highlighted in this full moon by the Cancer full moon, kind of being across from those planets traveling through the sign of Capricorn. And if you've been listening for the last few months, we've been talking a lot about this Venus retrograde and looking backwards to go forwards. And I think that a lot of those things that may have been coming up for you over the last few weeks or even a few months with the Venus retrograde, that it really could be highlighted. It's kind of like this light might be shown on those things. So it could be people, you're thinking back about situations with people, or people from the past might pop up You might get a surprise text or phone call, or see someone that you haven't talked to in a really long time. But it's also a time for taking care of unfinished business or resolving those things that are unresolved. And so those things could really be more prominent during this full moon, because they're already probably there brewing, and the full moon in Cancer just comes along and puts this big spotlight on it. So that's why I think that this full moon is a time of self-compassion. This is about taking care of yourself, especially for those nurturing people who like to care for others. Well, I shouldn't say especially. We all need to take care of ourselves. I just think that there are some people who tend to focus more on others, who tend to be the caregivers, the nurturers, the mothers of all people, and to remind you that to take care of yourself, which is on an airplane. And anyone who's ever flown knows that they say, you know, the masks that drop out of the top, if there was a problem, that you always put your mask on before you take care of somebody else.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. Take care of yourself first. If you want to care for others, you have to care for yourself first, or you're not really going to have the energy or the bandwidth to take care of others. So what's a great essential oil we can use at this time for self-care and self-compassion?
Yeah, rose is a perfect essential oil. It's the oil of love. It's you know, so compassion, you know, this theme that we have for this full moon, it's just perfect. It's rose is a really, I absolutely adore it. It's got a very gentle, very feminine aroma, and it's very gentle also on our emotions, and also on our physical level too. You know, it's really a really nice one to use for skin complaints, and also for hormonal issues. It's an antidepressant actually, and also an aphrodisiac, and it has other properties like being astringent, and it's a tonic for the skin, etc., etc. But it's emotionally, you know, it's a really lovely one to just apply to the pulse points. I actually, you know, recommend it's the touch version that doTERRA does, and that's because actual good quality pure rose oil is extremely expensive. So if you're getting a rose oil that costs, you know, 20-30 euros, it's not proper rose essential oil. You know, a bottle of rose essential oil is like in the hundreds. So a really nice way to get access to it is through a touch version, which means that it's already pre-diluted, and you can just use it. I use it like a, you know, like a perfume, and you still get all of the benefits. So it's really, really lovely one just to kind of balance out that feeling of love and compassion for yourself, and also for others as well.
Great. What about, have you ever heard of the, it's the water, like the rose water?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be another nice way to spritz your, you know, your pillow, or body after a shower, that kind of thing. Just inhaling that scent is really beneficial.
Cool. It's so lovely. I started using that. It's funny, I ran out of toner, you know, for your face. And and I thought, oh, well, I have this rose water, I'll use that. And it's so nice that I'm still using it. I haven't gone back to my old toner. Yeah. I really love that smell. Well, that's wonderful. Yeah, this is a really nice full moon to do self-care, and it's water. So I'm going to jump into my recommendations of things to do on the full moon, because that's my first recommendation, is get near water. If you can go to the ocean or the sea, the beach, maybe you live near a lake or a pond, and hopefully the weather will be nice enough to sit and you know, have a few meditative moments near water. That would be really nice. And
what about a nice warm bath with some dried rose petals in it? That would be good.
My gosh, yes. Yes, that's it. Definitely a bath. Oh, that would be lovely to have some rose, some salt, or even you can, well, I guess rose oil is so expensive, but I was going to say put a drop in your bath. It would be.
I would go for the rose petals personally.
I think that's cheaper, right? Go see your
I
floor.
don't want that rose oil evaporating straight
Yeah,
away.
yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Rose petals. That
Or the
sounds
salts, you're right. There's also, you can get rose oil infused bath salts, can't you? Which is a really nice way.
Yeah, yeah. And rose petals are probably accessible wherever you live. So I like that idea. Yeah, if you can't get near a body of water, get in water. A bath is perfect. Or if you have like a membership to a gym that has a spa or jacuzzi, that would be just fine. And then just nurturing things like cooking a healthy meal. If you have others in your house, cooking a really nice healthy meal for your family or your apartment mates. And do things that you really love, not things that you think you should do, but something that you're like, I love doing that. If you love music, sit and listen to music. Not background, but like actually engage in something you really, really enjoy. That's self-care, self-compassion. It's like doing things for yourself just because you like to do it. Yeah. And then journal about it. There is just a lot of other background stuff going on at the time of this full moon. And so anything that you are thinking about, especially as it relates to the past, things that you want to work through or solve or redo, review, revise, those are really great things to do under retrogrades. And since we have 2 retrogrades at this full moon, doing some journaling, you may really be able to tap into some things under the full moon, and it can help you move forward. It's part of a process. So what you do under this full moon will probably be something that you can continue to work on as we go through this Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde. Venus goes until the end of the month and Mercury goes into the beginning of February. So both of them will start moving forward in February. And I think all of the stuff that may be coming up, looking backwards to go forwards, is going to start resolving in February. So you can make this full moon part of that process. So those are some things to do on the full moon. And then one more thing is to have a good mantra, a self-compassionate mantra. Listen to the voice in your head. And if the voice in your head is sometimes negative or berating, sometimes people are really, really hard on themselves, that inner critic, come up with something that's very kind and compassionate to help you reframe your thoughts and be very kind to yourself. And if you really struggle with that, use the phrase, I am open to. And then whatever makes sense for you. But this is a really good time to think about a self-compassionate mantra to use with yourself. Now, the full moon is usually about it's a 2-week time period, that whole phase until we get to the next new moon. So if you can't do everything during the full moon phase, which is tonight and tomorrow, tonight and then the next couple of days, some other ideas to do would be to just go to water during the week or next weekend if you can't get there right on the full moon. Do get the words out, a cleanse, like a toxic cleanse or a hydrotherapy session. Anything that's cleansing and nurturing and healthy for your body that has to do with water would be really nice. Anything that you have been thinking about, like I talked about relationships or just unresolved business, this could be a time to take some action. So under this full moon phase, to take some action and do something about it, like actually make a date with somebody who you want to have some closure for unfinished business, or actually revise that thing that you've been meaning to revise, or send that email you've been meaning to send, or things like that. Work on something unfinished that you can now push towards the finish line, as opposed to starting really new things. That's the thing, is that you're going to probably find it's easier and better for you to work on things that have already started and need some resolutions than try to push to start something. Okay, And the last thing is 2022 has started. So you might want to also do something related to your goals. Maybe you have already written them and you wanted to evaluate them. I do drafts. So like I do drafts and then I go back and I kind of tweak through them. And so that's what I'm going to be doing under the full moon. Vision boarding too. I started mine. I did a lot of work on my vision board over the holidays. And now, like it's not all glued down yet. Like I have most of the pieces, but I'm still trying to figure out that final version of it. So these are good things to do under the full moon. You're full of it. So it's time. And then with the retrograde at the same time. So I'm combining two things. I'm combining the retrograde energy with the full moon energy. And I think that it's a really nice time to be able to do that. And it's unique. We don't have the new year all year long. So it's considering where we are in terms of the new year and a full moon, and with all this Capricorn energy, January is a Capricorn month. It's just interesting how it all comes together. I do talk a lot more about that in the blog, which I will link to below. And also there's a Venus retrograde blog and a Mercury retrograde blog with a whole lot more information on those things. So if you're interested in knowing more about any of those things, check out the blog below. And of course, if you want to talk to me, an astrologer, about how this is showing up in your chart, you can book a consultation with me. And then if you want to talk more about essential oils or health, you can talk to Annabelle and you can tell them how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, now is a great time, isn't it, to just be reflecting on your life and what you want for yourself and your well-being. So yeah, you can contact me at annabelle@bellabefree.com, and or just send me a direct message, and we look forward to being in touch with everyone. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks with another update to keep the momentum going in all of this, compassion for ourselves and goal setting. And there's a lot going on at the moment, right? And but it's a good time to focus on it all, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. All right. Well, if you want to contact me, you can find me at Lori Barnes Astrology. I'm pretty easy to find online. And yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks for the next series episode on the new moon, which will be in Aquarius.
Yay.
Okay.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, Lori.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.